And welcome to another edition of 302 Sports Weekly. I am your host, Benny Pennell, alongside my co-host. He's the greatest shooter that never played, and it's Pat Garrianis. Pat, how you doing?
You know, it's like one of those things, you always introduce you with something that's like a slap in the face, but it's positive at the same time. Man, nobody knows about that, Ben. Nobody understands that.
He was also an all-state placeholder. Just make that very clear.
Here we go again.
Got a lot going down on today's show. We're going to hear from both the Salesianum and St Elizabeths in lieu of their Spotlight Game of the Week. We'll hear about them a little bit. Got to talk girls and men's basketball. Of course, we have your college stuff coming up. And we have special guests that are on set. We'll get to them in a second, but first we want to thank everyone here at Hooters, Gary and Nick, for allowing us to have this show every week from the 136th Astro Shopping Center in Newark. Come on down, enjoy the show, and of course hang out. And a lot goes on after the show that you should come by and hang out with us.
Yeah, no, we have fun.
Yeah, we do. We always do. At the 136th Astro Shopping Center. Also try some of their great wings as well.
Exactly right. And guys, once again, we say it every week. We're going to continue to say it. If you have any highlights, scores, stats, or any other information you would like to see on the show, contact us. 302sports@gmail.com. Of course, as you guys know, we do the top 5 plays. Wait to see what we got in store there in our top 5 plays at the end of the show. Go to the website, 302sports.com. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 302sports. We have our poll question of the week up right now, and that's our Spotlight Game of the Week. Vote who you think is going to win. And then add us on Snapchat, sports_302. And make sure, like Benny said, come down here live. The Hooters of Newark, located in the 136 Astro Shopping Center. Take in the show and hang out with the crew.
All right, the 2018 Delaware Middle School Basketball Explosion features 36 of the very best middle school basketball players in the state of Delaware, showcasing their talents with friends and family. And joining us on the show today is 3 members of the Delaware Middle School Basketball Explosion. Joining us is Rob Turner, Ray Rhodes, and Darnell Vaughn. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Rob, I'm going to go and start with you. This concept of having middle school basketball players play in this big, I guess, expose is a way to put it. Where did this concept come from to have this showcase?
Well, originally, the very, very first one was in 2009, actually. When we first did it, it was for a fundraiser for an AAU program that I had. But I don't have that AAU program any longer. So now, it's just for these kids to showcase their skills and get an opportunity to play against these other kids that will probably be their nemesis or rivals for years to come.
Yeah, there is a sense of almost a beauty to it. There's an artwork of having like these rivalries start at this age, and then of course when they get to high school, kind of grow from there. I want to talk to you about the planning of this event, because an event this big, it has to require a lot of time and energy.
Well, yeah, it really did require a lot of time. I finally decided I wanted to bring it back last year in May. Speaking with Darnell here and Ray, told him I wanted to bring it back because we had actually stopped it in, I think it was 2012. But Darnell and I decided we were going to focus on AAU, but those kids are now graduating from high school, so we decided to bring it back in May. So we've been going full steam since May till even as soon as today. We added our last kid earlier today.
There you go. And again, this is Sunday, February 11th. It'll be played at St Elizabeths High School in the St. E Center. That's 1500 Cedar Street, Wilmington, Delaware. Make sure you get there. Doors will open at 12:30 p.m. $5 admission. You're going to see great games. And, of course, we got ourselves great games. And if you got great games, you got to have great players. Can you guys talk about some of the players that are playing in this thing and who we should be looking forward to in the years to come?
I think that's another question for me because I've actually personally went to middle school games, AAU practices, AAU games, hosted open gyms, coordinated workouts for myself and Mr. Darnell Vaughn here. So I've seen probably 32 of the 36 personnel.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Darnell, do you have any names that we should keep an eye out for here?
Well, I mean, my personal favorite is Masu Stewart.
Okay.
At the end of the day, we can coach high level AAU basketball, and so we know what it looks like to be high level. So when we first saw him, we were blown away by him. So when we knew we got him in the game, we know he was going to be something special.
Darnell, I'm going to go to you for this one. Talking about evaluating some of the talent. What went into that? I mean, there's tons of talent here. How do you kind of differentiate what level they're at?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, first off, it starts with their IQ. You see, a lot of times with kids, when you're a child, they all think we have to score a lot of points.
Right.
So we have a very small amount of time to show what you can do. We want to see if a kid understands competing at a high level, how to pass the ball, how to be coachable, being vocal, being able to shoot when a good shot, not just jacking up shots, just having a good basketball IQ at that young of age. That says a lot in a smaller sample size time. So.
And Darnell, I'm going to go back to you for this one. What can we expect in this upcoming show?
We're trying to change the culture. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to change the culture around here. And the only way we're going to change the culture is if we talk about all the time, is starting back with the younger children. And at the end of the day, we will hope that this game will turn into something that the younger children aspire to get to. So at the end of the day, we brought it back. A lot of kids don't remember the older ones. So we want this to be something they aspire to be as it goes forward. So we think it's going to be a really good game.
You talked about this event in the past. There's been some big names that have played in this thing that have gone on to collegiate success, some going overseas and playing, and some that are playing right now in high school. Can you talk about some of these guys that have played in this thing in the past and how much they've been incorporated into this?
A few that come to mind that most people will be able to familiarize themselves with is Trayvon Duval, who's actually the starting point guard for Duke University presently. Mikey Dixon, who's probably one of the greatest high school players Delaware has ever seen. He's currently at St. John's. Eric Ayala, who started his high school career out at Sanford. He's now getting ready to go to University of Maryland. We had Austin Tillman, who's now at Monmouth, getting ready to graduate. Sabree Thompson, who recently graduated from Northwestern State.
Isaac Fleming,
who's now at Eastern Carolina.
Tons of talent.
Some big names.
There's a couple that's actually playing professionally overseas. His name skips my mind right now, but he was the starting point guard for Howard High School when they won a state championship. Oh, Tyre Ponzo-Meek.
Yep.
It's a lot of kids. But some of them are men now, but yeah.
So that's what happens. We have tons of names. Ray, I'm going to go to you for this one. One of your titles is educational developer. How have you incorporated academics into this event, and how important is it for these talented young men to understand the importance of an education?
Well, I think it's very important. If we look just over the last few years at some of the more talented athletes that come out of Delaware, a lot of times they have to end up going to junior college, or they didn't qualify through clearinghouse to be able to get to a school that they wanted to. So we thought that if we could start to incorporate some of the thinking, the mindset to not only the students, to parents on why it's important to get these students ready now, if they want to go to a St. Elizabeths or another private school, that they need to start getting qualified now. So we help with SAT prep. We also help with secondary school academic preparation as well.
Education is so very important. Finally, Rob, I'm going to go to you for this one. Some of the coaches are names that people in Delaware should be familiar with. A lot of stars there.
I was speaking with Darnell again. Like, he's probably my best friend, and we go over things with each other before we make it public. And I thought that it would be cool to have the current high school stars, or some of them even superstars, to actually coach these kids that these kids more than likely are looking up to currently. So in the first game, we're going to have Hassan Perkins, who's a star guard for Sanford. And he told me that he wanted his assistant coach to be none other than Jair Davis, who's, I don't know, the first freshman ever to make first team All-State, if I'm not mistaken. He's also a part of Team USA basketball. The coach that they're going to be competing against is Famir Ali, who's been to probably the Bob Carpenter Center every year of his career as a point guard. And then the following game, One of the coaches is going to be Caleb Matthews, Smyrna High School. Won a state championship last year, first team All-State. And then his coach that he's going to be coaching against is Nyshawn Bones Highland, and nobody's name is hotter than his right now. I'm pretty sure he scored 50 or more points 2 games in a row sometime last week. So that'll be very interesting to see how those younger guys coach the even younger guys.
It's going to be a great event, Ben. You look at it, it's going to get broken down into 2 games here. Game 1 will be at 1 o'clock. Players will consist of 6th and 7th grade players. Halftime will be an 8-minute game, 4th grade players. Then in game 2, that's going to be around 2:15. That'll be the 8th graders and some elite players that we've talked about. Halftime of that game will be 5th graders. Once again, guys, with these last 2 games, those players to watch. Can we name them one more time so the listeners at home can see who they're going to go see?
Name the players?
Just a few.
I have them in, I believe, alphabetical order. I'm not exactly sure. But we have a kid by the name of Shannon Black who goes to SHU. Majesty Carter, Smyrna Middle. Jehiah Eldridge, Gunn & Bedford. Brandon Graves, who I believe is probably going to be a pretty special player. He goes to Newark Charter. Akeem Henry, excellent point guard, goes to Frary Charter. Xavion Holden, I probably pronounced his name wrong, but he goes to Sussex Central Middle. Justin Molen, a kid that I think is going to be pretty good as well. He's 6'3" right now in the 8th grade. He goes to the independent school.
A little bit of height I wish I had, Ben. Yeah. Just a little bit of height I wish
Malachi Wright, another kid that's about 6'3" right now, goes to Tally Middle. There's a kid named Evan Sparks who goes to Reading Middle. He's also 6'3". And 2 kids that are not participating, but they would have had they not been away for an AAU event. One kid is named Jalen Duran. He's 6'8" right now. Goes to Gunning Bedford. And then there's another kid, Denai Sutton Dennis, or Denai Dennis Sutton. I'm not 100% sure how it's written, but he's about 6'6", and he also goes to Sussex Central Middle. So there's some talent here in Delaware. So I just wanted to bring it all together for people to see it. And one more thing that people don't know about that's happening, we're actually bringing in a highly reputable regional scout by the name of Mike Melton, who runs these great events called the Basketball Spotlight. He's seen everybody that's probably in the NBA when they were this same kid's age. So I wanted to bring him down here to get an opportunity to see our Delaware youth, and so he can evaluate them as well.
It is the 2018 Delaware Middle School Basketball Explosion. Again, doors open at 12:30 p.m. Admission is $5. 2 games and tons of fun events, and it's a lot of basketball. And of course, you can watch the next wave of talent hit Delaware. Rob, Ray, Darnell, thank you so much for stopping by on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We come back, we got to talk about the kids that are in high school right now. It's Girls First. It's coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Hey, you know what they did at the Saturday game where they had the half-court shot? You should do that.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.re.com.
And welcome back to 302 Sports. Special thanks again to the Delaware Middle School Basketball Explosion. Rob, Darnell, and of course Ray. It was fun to talk to them, Pat.
Oh, it is, and that's going to be an event to keep an eye on. If you love Delaware High School basketball, you got to go check that out because these are going to be the kids of the future that are going to mold, that are going to be the names for this state to keep bringing that good publicity to the state of Delaware for the sport of boys basketball.
And it's going to be pretty fun to see the next wave of talent, next wave of kids we're probably going to talk about in a couple of years.
Well, if you look at it, the way it sounds, some of these kids could probably be playing high school ball right now and competing. So that'll be a great event. Make sure you guys go check it out.
And being that the majority of 302 Sports is under 6 foot, it is kind of a little jealous.
Listen, man, don't ever sell me short again. All right, like you said, I was the greatest shooter who never played. I'm telling you, I played, I just didn't get into games.
Well, girls basketball is playing right now. Conrad defeated Caravel 58-47. Pat, you got the recap of that.
We do got a recap, and boy, was this game exciting. Just talking to Mike and Jason a little bit about it, you couldn't get enough from this game. So right now, we're going to roll through the highlights. This one, big time game right here, and you can see early in this one, Caravel gets it going early. This is Kaylee Otlowski scoring the first bucket of the game. And then later in the quarter, Sasha Marble, Caravel up 5-0. They would jump out to an 8-1 lead in this one, Ben, as you see Julie Kalasia knock in a free throw. 8-1 early lead. Now all of a sudden you see it's 12-12. And look at this. This is the top play nominee, Stephanie Kalasia from Rehoboth Beach. From Rehoboth Beach knocks it in. Looking like me, even though I didn't get engaged. 15-12 at the end of one. Now we move in to the second quarter. You see her sister Julie on the line, knocking in a pair of free throws, would extend the lead early in this one. Conrad going up 17-12 with that. Caravel looking to answer. Right down the floor they go. You can see right here, they go inside. This is Catherine Spey with the nice layup off the Marvel assist. And just like that, we're at 20-19. As you can see, Marvel at the line trying to tie this one up. That one's up and good. And just like that, Caravel's back in the game, tying it up at 20. Later in the quarter, you can see the steal here. This is Stephanie Kalasia down the floor, coast-to-coast layup. No good, gets her own rebound, goes up again, and makes it. Conrad expanding that lead to 9 at the half. That's what they would lead by, 33-24. Now we move on into the second half. Little running layup right there by Julie Kaleja makes it 35-24. Now you can see Caravel trying to come back with an answer. It's a nice baseline drive right here by Maya Bryson. Will cut the lead into single digits, down to 9. Later in the quarter, 8-point game. Caravel trying to come back. Andia Brown goes up with the layup, nails it. 6-point game. Caravel trying to make things interesting in this one. Now, there's a layup right there. That's Julie Kaleja. She finished with 12 in this game. Pushes the lead back out to 8. Caravel would answer right back. Sasha Marble puts one up and in. And we're on that saw right now. 6-point game. Alyssa Favel just takes what the defense gives her. Puts it up and in. And you can see right now both teams going back and forth in this one. It's an 8-point game. Still an 8-point game. 3-ball, good. Kendra Warren drilling one. Making this game a 5-point game here in the fourth quarter. She would finish with 18 points in this one, Ben, to lead the way for Caravel. Now Stephanie Kaleja down the lane, looking to her sister for 3. Jewel, bam! Knocks down the 3 and the foul. Another top play nominee right there. The game now would be expanded out to 9. And now you see Stephanie Kaleja knocking in the free throws. Under a minute to play in this one. And the Conrad School of Sciences, the Red Wolves, would come away with a big-time victory in this one. 56-47 over Caravel for the Red Wolves. Julie Kaleja, or I think it's Julie or Stephanie. Yeah, 27 points for Julie. And then for, like we said, Warren for Caravel knocking in 18. And you guys were there. Is it as good as the highlights might have said?
Yeah, I like the way Conrad really bounced back. Caravel got off that real fast start. You can see the place was packed. There was a boys game following that, so the boys teams for Conrad and Caravel were both on hand. A lot of people in the stands, a lot of coaches from around the state were there. Friday night, it was a great atmosphere, and Conrad, they're young. They just, with their experience, they just fought back, and the Kaleja sisters just do everything. It's unbelievable how they carry the team. Nye Whittlesey, we didn't mention her in the highlights. She's an outstanding player. And Alyssa Fayetteville, we saw her driving that one layup. She's the shortest girl on the floor. She's getting rebound after rebound, dishing, shooting. She does everything. They're so well-rounded. The whole team is.
It's all about heart with her, Mike. She's fearless. She doesn't mind. She might be small, but she don't mind going inside and playing within the trees.
Well, you gotta like that game. Of course, it was a high-intensity game. And it definitely reflected in the rankings. You see Caravel falling as we flash the rankings on your screen. From 1 to 3, Conrad, 3 to 1. Conrad leapfrogging them to the number 1 spot. St. Elizabeths staying pat or jumping up 1. Ursuline falling back down. We'll talk about that reason for a second. And an unranked team in Hodgson making it in at the bottom. A lot of shakeups. We'll get to all that in a second. Right now, though, we got to talk about why St. Elizabeths has moved up because they beat Ursuline and Ward Mayo at 20 points in that one. Hodgson getting in because they're upset over Sussex Tech, with Perkins Jackson getting 21 points in that game. Of course, some key matchups to look forward to. More shakeups potentially. We have Padua versus Ursuline on the docket. That's a Monday game at 7:15 p.m. Caravel, they will be at Archmere. That's happening tomorrow. And on Tuesday, it'll be Tatnall and Newark Charter. All right, Mike, a lot of shakeups in the top 10. But first, before we get to that, we got to talk about Conrad jumping Sanford into the top spot in the rankings. What's the deal with that?
Well, I mean, both Sanford and Conrad have played a number of these out-of-state showcase events, and the Diamond State in-state for Conrad. Conrad beat the number 1 team, and I think they deserve to be in the number 1 spot. If you look at Sanford's in-state schedule, it's just not very strong at all. Conrad, much stronger in-state schedule. Sanford does get Ursuline and Caravel 2 of the last 3 games against Ursuline and Caravel, but the rest of their schedule is independent conference and kind of lackluster other than that. So I think Conrad deserves to be where they are.
And Jason, we're just a little bit past halfway through the season. We talked about the new number 1 team in the state. Players, there's been a lot of great performances so far this year from a lot of players. If you could put together a first team All-State so far, who would it be and why? This is up for both of you guys.
And me, I always look at it, what you do when you play the big boys. You know, what you do in those high-pressure games. So for me, it's no doubt on this. Maggie Conley, Ursuline, Julie Kaleja, Conrad, Stephanie Kaleja, Conrad, Olivia Tucker, Sanford, and Kendra Warren, Caravel are my players that I would put in there. And you notice that a lot of them are in the top 4 in the state because they're playing against each other every week, and they're performing at that high level. They also go out of state and play those showcase games like Mike said. So I always don't look at box score. I look at what they do through the game, like MVP type things. Like MVP, I don't look at it like scoring 30 points a game, Pat. I look at what you do to help your team win those competitive games.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I also had Julie Kleja and Maggie Connolly. I was making my list and I forgot to put number 5 on there, but Stephanie Kleja is not a bad selection. I have Renaya Ward-Mayo on the list from St. Elizabeths. She's just been, and I know it's not just a points thing, but from what St. E's expected this year and where they are, despite the loss yesterday, Ward-Mayo has been outstanding. And I have Ronasia Blatch-Huggins from Howard. I've seen Howard several times this year, and she can do everything for that team. She runs the floor, she passes, she scores, and she's the leader on that team. And I think Blatch-Huggins deserves a spot on the first team.
And Ward-Mayo has the ball on a string, Ben. I saw her for the first time. We streamed their game against Ursuline. She handles the ball unlike any other girl I've ever
Absolutely.
seen. The combination of quickness and agility with ball handling is phenomenal. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Ward-Mayo, a very good player, and that's the game I actually want to talk to you about, Mike. St. E's beating Ursuline 58-50. What does that say about St. E's?
They're better than people think, and we have them number 4 this week. So we obviously think they're pretty good, but I think people have underestimated the Vikings all season, and they just keep beating people and beating people. I mentioned they lost yesterday to Howard, a last-second loss against a very good Howard team, but I don't think that takes away from St. E's at all. They've had an outstanding season, and they're going to be one of the teams playing in that final weekend, in the final few days there at the Bob Carpenter Center.
Now, you brought up an interesting team there, Mike. Howard. It's been a top-heavy state the past few years here, Jason. Ursuline, Caravel, Sanford, St. E's, to some extent, Conrad now. Is Howard the next team to put their name in the hat here? They've had an exceptional season, and defeating St. E's yesterday, that's a big win.
Yeah, and Howard's played Conrad. They played Ursuline. They lost both of those games, but they played them.
Right.
So how do you want to beat those teams? You need to play them in the regular season. You play them, you find out where you are, and then when you get into tournament time, when those top 5 teams you think are all ahead of everyone else, Howard can say, hey, we can go back and look at the film when we played them. Let's clean up the mistakes that we had, and they know that they can play with these teams. So they're the team I would, outside the top 5, that I would put stock in this year.
Mike, I'm going to ask you this question. Jason, you can answer it after him. Looking ahead to some of the games we have, of course, we have Caravel, Archmere, Padua, Ursuline, Tandle versus Newark Charter. Which one of those games or any other game is something that intrigues you, Mike?
Well, I have the Padua Ursuline game on my list. Mainly I want to see 2 things. I want to see how Padua has progressed. They lost to Ursuline by 21 the first time they met. And I want to see how Ursuline responds through this adversity they're experiencing this year. They're not used to this. These players have not been through this. Everybody in that team has done nothing but win state championships, except for the seniors. Their 8th or 9th grade year. Just their 8th grade year, so it'd be Maggie Connolly. So for both teams, I like to see something there. The game that's not on the list that I like is St. Elizabeths at Sussex Central. It's Friday night at 6:15. Sussex Central's been kind of up and down, but I really want to see how St. Elizabeths responds after yesterday and after the long ride down to Georgetown. So those are the games that really, not a lot of top 10 matchups on the schedule this week, but those are the 2 that I'm looking forward to.
Jay, give us a team or a player to keep an eye on this week.
To me, I think the team this week to keep an eye on is Hodson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hodson got into the top 10 with a couple big wins last week. They played St. Mark's last night and struggled. So they're like one of the Hodsons, I call them the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of team this year. They have the really good games and then they have the really bad games. I like to see how they bounce back this week and see if they can. They've been in the top 10 before. They started the year in the top 10 and then just had a couple back-to-back losses and quickly dropped out. now that they're back in there, let's see if they can keep that spot and keep on rolling.
Now let's see what happens in the world of boys basketball. That's coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowes, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
All right, it's guys' time now on 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garanes, Mike, and Jason joining us on the set to talk about boys basketball. No movements in the top 10, as you see the top 10 rankings on your screen, but we are going to focus on the bottom half of that because we have St. Elizabeths and Salesianum as our spotlight game of the week. Of course, we're going to speak to both of those schools coming up. We're looking at it. You have Cape Penn Lopin, Smyrna, William Penn, Sanford, Caravel, Sussex Tech, St. George's Tech, NCR, and of course the aforementioned St. Elizabeths and Salesianum. And of course, those rankings were in play during these week's games. Nothing really changed. I mean, St. George's Tech beat Newark. Newark did take into overtime. Michael McCann had 27 points in that one. And then Njoku had 16 points. Davis had 18 points. And Sanford's 54-46 win over Friends. And of course, Parker did very well as Caravel had 70 points and Lake Forest only had 66. In that victory, Parker finishing with 23 points there. And of course, some upcoming matchups for this week. Indian River, they will be at Cape Penn Lopin. Salesianum, of course, St. E's, that's our spotlight game of the week. William Penn faces Sussex Tech, and Sussex Tech will be at Smyrna. Sussex playing Saturday and Tuesday. Let's talk about that, Mike. So Sussex Tech has two very difficult games in a short period of time. What does that do to a team?
So was that they had two games? Well, they're going to get the William Penn train on Saturday, and the Colonials won 10 straight. One of the top teams in the state. They lost, as we mentioned before, to Salesianum in the opening game of the season. But William Penn's so balanced. You can see if Sussex Tech, and I really don't know much about Sussex Tech's team, but that's a daily double there that I wouldn't want to have to face. You know, you get William Penn with all that balance, and you get Smyrna with that scoring. So
3-2, yeah.
You know, if I'm not, you know, I'm Catholic, so you know, my blessings to Sussex Tech. We see what happens to the Ravens.
Jason, not too long ago, Sanford sat at 1-4, and everyone's like, is Sanford falling apart? Is this going to be a down year for them? They've righted the ship. They've won 5 in a row and are starting to look like the Sanford team that we're used to seeing. What have they done well in the last 5 games?
Yeah, and they've also got another one last night, beating St. George's Tech and holding Highland to like 11 points.
Wow.
It was
13.
A late bucket that where the game was out of hand.
Right.
But they did a great job. Their height and their height is the key to that team. Also, they got into their Delaware part of their schedule where they can rebound from that tough start that they had. Waterman said it best. At the beginning of the year, they were losing close games. But now they're in these close game situations and they're winning because they had the experience of the heartbreak losses early in the year. Now they get into these tough games and they're used to winning. So I think this is they're headed in the right direction and a team I wouldn't want to play anytime soon.
Education is very important, kids. All right, let's look at the top 10 right now. Of course, you have a couple of teams that have been impressive so far, but who's impressed you, Mike?
In the top 10? Let's scroll that back down here a second. I got to keep saying it. It's William Penn. There are no superstars in that team. They do have some very good players. Buck Bowling, Jordan Harding, and Gerard Wall really carry that team. And every time I see them in their highlights, or if I see them on 302 Sports, I'm more impressed every time I watch them. I think they're three. And Yeah, they needed 4 overtimes, I think, to get past Delcastle. But that's going to happen to every team. You're going to have a game like that. I love watching William Penn play, and they're so disciplined and fun to watch. That's the team I've been watching and rooting for because I really like Steve Christensen and I like the Colonials.
All right, here we go. Last question for both of you guys here. Once again, we said it for the girls. We're about a little over halfway through the season right now. If you had to name a first-team All-State based off what you've seen so far, who would you include on the boys' side of things?
Again, I look at it like I did the women's. I want people playing the best, and so right away I'm going to go Bones Island. He's having an outstanding year. Then I have from Sanford, Davis, and then from Smyrna, Khalid Matthews. Also from Smyrna, Greg Bloodsworth.
Okay.
And from Cape Henlopen, Ian Robertson. Those are my 5. All 5 of those players play on teams that are winning, and they're doing the things that make those teams winning.
What about you, Mike?
I just checked off the same 5 names, and we did not talk about this at all.
That's impressive.
We had the same 5 people that. Yeah, you didn't talk about it. No, we did not, and I feel bad that I can't include any of those William Penn guys because I think they're having great years, but you can't ignore the Matthews and Bloodsworth carrying that Smyrna team. Oh, they got Jameer Garnett back. And Ian Robertson, look at Cape, they're number 1 in the state. And, of course, Jair Davis and Bones Highland is the player of the year right now, hands down. But despite last night, we only had the 1 3-pointer and a bunch of free throws.
And I expect Parker from Caravel and Woody from Howard potentially be on there. Their schedule gets tough in the second half of the season, so let's see what those two can do against the top competition.
And top competition is what's going to be on display this Friday with our Spotlight Game of the Week. St. E's versus Salesianum, and we're going to sit down with Salesianum coming up in a little bit on 302 Sports Weekly.
Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus: wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you and The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroup.com. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Scott Cameron from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
And welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. It is time to talk about our Spotlight Game of the Week, and joining us is the Salesianum head coach, Brendan Daly. We also have players Paul Brown and Mike Wallace. Guys, thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely, everybody.
So, Coach, to start with you, Salesianum has not missed the playoffs since the 2009-2010 season. Here in 2018, 6-4. You've had a bit of a rough stretch. What's been the issue for your team?
Well, I think we've been a little bit inconsistent. I think we're trying to find what's our best way to play because we've got a lot of guys who can do different things, and so I was struggling a little bit with maybe what's our best way to play, and I think we're finding ourselves a little bit, but we got to do, sometimes we've talked at the beginning of the year, our identity has to be a little bit more, in terms, a little bit more physical and tough sometimes. We got to get the loose balls and things like that we're not always getting. So we lost a couple ones like that, but I feel good about where we're at heading down the second half of the season.
Coach, Salesianum, as I mentioned, has had a very successful streak of making it to the playoffs. You actually had a couple of finals appearances. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, they've won back-to-back finals. What does that success do in terms of the history of the program do for your team?
Well, it certainly, our profile went up in terms of, I think there was a perception for a while there at Sally's is just, you kind of are a part and you go in and we just, we're not, if you're a star, you don't come and play at Sally's. And I think, with Dante doing well and Brian O'Neill and it was, I think people started to look at us more as, you know what, I can go there and have success, and it's not necessarily like Sally's is all about forcing you into some machine or something, and we just put parts in. It's not what it is, and so we've gotten some very good players because of it. So it's a good thing.
And talk about those very good players. You mentioned Dante DiVincenzo. Of course, he's a star for Villanova. What does producing a talent like that do for a basketball program?
Well, what I just said, for one thing, is that you attract guys that weren't, maybe didn't think about you before, but it's just we kind of became people that have come to games have stayed with coming to our games, beyond that, because they realize it's a great atmosphere to come watch a game on a Friday night. People that aren't necessarily huge basketball fans are still in love with the atmosphere, of high school basketball. And so I think that's been a pretty cool thing is that we've carried it even with Dante moving on. I think we have a nice core of people that still come to support us.
Paul, Mike, first half of the year, you guys 6-4. You're hanging tough. From a player's perspective, you could both speak on this. What do you guys evaluate your team? If you had to self-evaluate yourselves, how do you guys think that you guys have done first half of the season?
I think we should have not been too relaxed going into some games and taking our opponent more seriously. And I think that was one of our biggest problems with this couple losses we have.
Mike?
I agree with him. I felt beginning of the season we viewed ourselves as one of the top teams, and then we started off strong, and then when we played those out-of-state games, we played a lot better competition than we're used to seeing in-state, and I think that woke us up that we need to improve on stuff and that we're always going to need to get better if we want to continue to play down the road and play in the playoffs and play that tough competition there is in the state.
Coach Haley, talking about the rough stretch, 1 point, 2-6 in your last, or 2-4 in your last 6. 1 point Sally's have lost 3 straight games, 2 tough out-of-state games, and 2 fairly close games. What kind of wasn't working for Salesianum?
Well, I think there's things that I always say, tell the guys, like, kind of our warts were on display. You get into those games that are tight, and sometimes those things that come back to haunt you that you talk about. We didn't close out quarters real well. We had opportunities to take maybe a more secure lead into the fourth, and we really didn't close things out the way you wanted to, and it comes back to bite you. But as Mike said, we have played some good teams. I don't want to take anything away from them, and obviously Sanford's, starting to play like Sanford's capable of. So we ran into some tough teams. St. E's, I can't say enough about how well they're playing and what Coach Rubincam's doing with them. So combination of those two things, and you're 2-4, but we had a good win against St. Mark's Friday, and we're excited the way we're playing and for the second half of the season.
It was not fun to read that as a St. Mark's alum. But I will say this, not to keep the negativity going, but you mentioned St. E's. They beat you back on the 6th. It was a fairly tight game, 59-51. What'd you take away from that game? What'd you take away from the matchup?
Yeah, well, you're being kind, because it was not that tight. They handled us really well. Nate Thomas, 16 for 16 from the foul line. Played a tremendous, I think he had 20 rebounds or something, my assistant was telling me. So he really, I didn't do a good job of kind of getting a plan to, he was much more aggressive against us than he usually is. It's kind of the other guys that we were concerned about. So, I'll do a little bit better job this time, and the boys are eager to, get a rematch.
Players' perspective, fellas, they're taking them on again. You lost early in the year. You got to try and get that revenge factor against what's become a little bit of a rivalry. What do you guys see, on tape or just watching these guys playing them already that is challenging, but also what can you guys do to turn, right the ship this time around with Sainties?
I'd say, we do know them a lot better now. Like, they're a completely different team than last year. I mean, we weren't really expecting, we weren't really ready for last game, and now we've seen them play, and we played against them. They beat us pretty well, so we know I think we're ready.
Mike?
I think last time we came out, we played a good first quarter, and then second quarter, start of the third quarter, we kind of backed off a little bit, and they caught up, and their momentum just they continue to play with that through the rest of the game, and especially at home, they're going to have a good crowd, and they're going to be hyped up and ready to play. So I think coming out and viewing ourselves as all right, we need a win now. They proved that they can beat us, so now we have to go after them. I think that will help us.
For you this. And I know it's a road game, but I've heard so many great things about the Salesianum home games and the crowd there. Can you kind of comment on the passion of your fans of the games?
Yeah, like I said, it started, I think when Dante was there, obviously there was, some added juice, and it really started then, and it's just, I think that our student body realizes, we want them to kind of not go over that line, but they understand now that they can have an impact on games, that they, that it's a tough thing to, especially in that second half when other teams are having to go and shoot at that basket with that kind of, guys get on the foul line, and you just see different, a different form, a different, there's definitely, and once our guys kind of realize that they can have that impact, they're into the game, and so it's a really, like I said, I've had people come up to me now that I wouldn't call them huge basketball fans, but they love that Friday night atmosphere, and just their daughters and their sons want to come, and it's pretty cool. So.
Paul, Mike, how does that affect you as a player? Does it give you a little extra juice knowing that place is electric?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to point out the Sanford game when we were down and we were hitting threes and coming back, and the crowd was really into it. You just get an adrenaline rush, and you feel like you can play defense for the whole quarter without getting tired. It really helps. When you're trying to dig in and you're trying to get a stop, that's the factor that helps you get over the top.
You guys ever lost, lost maybe a little, you're looking in the stands, and obviously these guys, they come up with some clever stuff. Have you guys ever lost it a little bit on the court? Like, I can't believe he just did that.
I have. So at the Silent Night game, there was someone shooting a foul shot. I was talking to Coach Haley. I turn around, and there's a kid in a Speedo swimming across the student section. And I'm like, there's no way this kid's about to make this foul shot. And he ended up missing, but that really caught my attention.
Paul, you got a specific story?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, but also one time I looked at a student section and they were pretending to give birth to another student. That was one of the funniest things I've seen.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
That is fantastic. Well, Coach Haley, Paul, and Mike, thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And good luck in your game against St Elizabeths. It's our 302 Spotlight Games of the Week. Be right back.
Hey, Nick.
Life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
All right, two questions each.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the Culinary Coast with 10 locations from Lowest, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Special thanks again to the Salesianum men's basketball team for stopping by, and of course, St. E's unfortunately could not be here. They could not make it. But of course, we're very much looking forward to that game this Friday night at 7:15. It'll be on 302 Sports. And of course, check it out live. There's nothing better than going to a high school basketball game on a Friday night. All right, guys, let's talk about that game really quick. The Spotlight Game of the Week, Mike. Both of these teams are very interesting. Can you kind of go in depth as to what they both offer?
Well, St. Elizabeths, after losing Jordan Money, their big name player from last year, has really emerged with some new standouts. Jordan Brown is one of them. Nate Thomas is a senior who's really stepped up, and
Justin Money.
Justin Money, yeah, Justin was the other one I'm trying to think of. They also have some really young players that are Nasir Brown and some other guys that are really stepping up. So I like. Some new leaders have emerged at St. E's, and they get some balanced scoring. They don't rely so much on one guy to do the scoring. Unfortunately, lost a 3 overtime game yesterday to Howard, but I really like what St. E's has done. If you'd asked me if they were going to be 93 at this point in the year, I would say no, they haven't, and I like what I've seen from St. E's.
And the key to this thing here, and that's me speaking just from being around Coach Rubincam for years, they're buying into his system. He preaches defense and whatnot, and that's what they're doing right now. When you buy into a system that's going to work, you see success. I think that's what's going on. Jason, you and Mike were both at the first matchup this year where St. E's 150.
No, I wasn't there, but
you know, 59-51.
You're there in spirit.
Talk a little bit about
I was there in spirit.
How that game went and how you think maybe this one will go a little different.
Yeah, the difference was the foul line. I mean, St. E's shot 25 and 29. Sally's went to the foul line 10 times, only made 6. So that's a big difference there. The game was tied at 38 apiece heading into the fourth quarter, and St. Elizabeths exploded for 21 points in that last quarter. Most of it was done by Nate Thomas at the foul line. He just went there and he didn't miss. He was 16 for 16. Sally's needs to do a better job, I think, of not fouling them, and I think they can do it, you know, and Sally's has the inside presence. The key with Salesianum this year, they lost 2 of their veteran assistant coaches this year, who both had a presence in designing the inside game. And it looks like this year they're more of a 3-point shooting team. But they do have height in Paul Brown, and I'm looking for him to get on track this game. Maybe go inside, try and get him going. He had a slow game the first time they played, whereas Jack Brown was the guy who kept Sally's in that game. But I think it wouldn't surprise me if Sally's tries to get Paul Brown involved early and maybe get some of the St. E guys in foul trouble.
It is. And we got the Twitter poll question.
Yes, you got the words right out of my mouth.
Yep. Salesianum. The people have spoken. 56-44. They're saying the Sal's going to beat the Vikings in this one, and what would be, I guess, a little upset if you look at our 302 Sports rankings. But both teams evenly matched, and Salesianum's got the edge on that. What do you guys think about that?
I'm a little surprised, just only because it's St. E's home game, and you talk to Brendan and the players about the atmosphere at Salesianum, and the St. E's Center. When the VK Nation gets out there, that place is rocking with the maroon and gold. And St. E's coming off the loss yesterday, I expect them to be really jacked up and wanting to sweep the Sal's. I know that they've split for I don't know how many years in a row. But it's pretty even. 56-44 is not an overwhelming stat either way.
Well, you can, of course, vote on that Twitter poll at 302 Sports on Twitter. Really quickly hitting the wrestling stuff. That is Benny Mitchell's forte, not really much ours. But as you look at the top 5 in the world of Delaware High School Wrestling, Division 1, you have Smyrna, Sussex Tech, Salesianum, Cesar Rodney, and Dover. Of course, a lot of S's doing well there. Division 2, you have Milford, Laurel, DMA, Indian River, and Woodbridge. Of course, check the Facebook out for Benny Mitchell's individual rankings, and of course go to our Facebook page for that. When we wrap it up, we have your grand finale coming up, including the top 5 plays of the week, players of the week as well, and much more in the world of Delaware sports. It's up next, 302 Sports Weekly. Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garianis, and it's time for the grand finale. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the world of college sports in Delaware. Looking at Goldie Beacom, the women's basketball team. It had its hands full against a talented Caldwell squad. They left North Jersey with a 72-47 Central Athletic Conference loss. Turner Rush added 13 points, giving her double figures in scoring in back-to-back games for a third time this season. Bryson closed with 8 points, 12 rebounds. The Lightning were 6-13, shot 33% at 16-48 from the floor. Goldie Beacom, they are off until next Saturday, and they will be visiting Post for a 1 p.m. contest. The men's game will be between the same schools following at 3 p.m. And speaking of the men's, Pat, you have that?
Corey Tate continues his great season this year. Picked the CACC Men's Basketball Weekly Honor Roll. He averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal and a half over the 2 games with 4 3-point shots. He scored 24 points with 5 assists and 2 threes and a steal in Goldie Beacom's win on Tuesday, 75-65 over Georgia Court. Then he backed that up with 20.7 boards, 3 assists, and his 85-76 triumph at Caldwell. And like you said, they'll be playing this upcoming Saturday.
Well, it was a battle for the UD women's basketball team until the end, but fouls got the best of the Blue Hens. Saturday afternoon was a 64-51 loss to Elon at Alumni Hall. Sophomore Simone DeFries led Delaware, who is now 12-6, 5-2 in the CA, with her fourth double-double of the season, 10 points, a career-high 14 rebounds in 34 minutes. Freshman Lizzie O'Leary posted a season-high 13 points for the Hens, while trying a season-best 7 rebounds. Friday, January 26th will be their next game. Northeastern comes to town at 7 p.m. tip at the Bob Carpenter Center.
Moving to the men's, Northeastern used a 12-2 run midway through the second half to take a lead for good and went on to defeat the Blue Hens 76-64 Saturday afternoon at Matthews Arena. Blue Hens guard Ryan Daly and Ryan Allen each scored 16 points to lead the Hens, while Anthony Champ Mosley, formerly of Sanford, contributed 13 points, while Sky Johnson chipped in 9. Delaware will be taking on Charleston January 25th. That's a 7 o'clock game there, Benny.
All right, moving over to Wilmington University. Macy Robinson, formerly of St Elizabeths. She had 8 three-pointers, carried Wilmington to a large lead, but in the end, they need to hang on late against Nyack, 80-76 Saturday in Bowman, the Bowman Gym for a CACC cross-divisional action. The redshirt junior cooled down in the second quarter, but Emma Matthews picked it right up. She's from Padua. Matthews went 3 of 5 from the floor and hit both of her three-pointers before the half, scoring 8 points while adding 4 assists in the quarter. The Wildcats shot 45% of the floor, 3 of 4 from deep. Robinson went 10 of 17 from the floor, including 8 of 11 deep, and she shot 3 of 5 from the foul line for 31 points for her and 8 rebounds. Grant secured a double-double, 14 and 11, while Matthews nearly had a double-double with 14 and 9. The Wildcats will go for the season sweep of Holy Family in the next contest as they head to Philadelphia to take on the Tigers on Wednesday night.
Tips at 6 o'clock. Let's move on to the men. Nick Richards of Hodson Votech. He's been named the Defensive Player of the Week. He did on both ends of the floor last week. He averaged 20 points, 5.5 boards, but he also averaged 3.5 steals and a block and a half per game. He shot just under 61% from the floor for the week and playing all but 2 minutes in those 2 games, Ben. He put 19 points up in the rout of Jefferson on Tuesday, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. And then on Saturday, he turned it around, 8 of 12 from the field, 5 of 6 from the foul line. He had 21 to go with 5 steals, 2 block shots, 4 assists. It's the first time this season and the second time of his career that Richards was named CACC Defensive Player of the Week. He will be helped try to lead the Wildcats into the next contest on Wednesday night as they head to Holy Family looking for the regular season sweep, just like the women. That will start 8 o'clock up in Philly.
All right, we're going to head south now to Wesley. The college women's basketball team fell 78-67 at home against Southern Virginia Knights on Saturday in a CACC contest. Lucian Newsom-Murray, she's from Seaford, netted a career-high 33 points, 11 of 21 from the field, 11 of 16 from the charity stripe. Tiana Gibbs from Concord, she and Stacy O'Neal each tallied 13 points respectively in the loss. Gibbs pulled down 9 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 assists. Pat, you got the men's team.
They were moving right along. They picked up an 84-70 win Saturday over the Southern Virginia Knights in a CAC matchup to avenge an early season loss back on December 3rd. Brian Cameron, formerly of DMA, led all scorers at 26 points, 4th consecutive 20-point game for Cameron. He was 8-12 shooting and 9-10 from the free throw line. J.W. Lawson, he recorded 19 points, and he also registered 6 rebounds and 6 assists off the bench, man.
All right, to the University of Sciences we go. Their women's basketball team was able to hold off Felician 63-51 in the CACC conference action. Alex Thomas from St. Elizabeths and Colleen Wash combined for a perfect 6 for 6 from the foul line. And then with minute 24, in the final minute 24, that capped a 18-22 performance from the free throw line compared to just 61.9% for Felician. Thomas was the only other Devil in double figures, 17 points to go along with a season best 8 rebounds. The junior moved up 2 positions to 15th in the program. Now she has 1,117 points.
That's impressive. Jalen Thompson, formerly at Concord, he converted a pair of free throws to tie the game before the Eagles eventually took the lead back in a game that saw Holy Family lose to Post University 67-55. Thompson finished the game 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks for the former Raider.
And moving on to Immaculata, the Mighty Macs got Mike Pekarski. He's on the all-name team. The Mighty Macs, they are 8-8, played well through the game on their way to an 83-61 victory. Pekarski from St. Elizabeths had 12 points and 6 rebounds in the win.
The Bears of Morgan State got a big 61-47 victory over Dell State this past weekend. It's the Hornets' 16th straight loss. However, that's not a good thing. Philip Carr led the Bears' 10th double-double of the season, 13-12. And then Kyson Rawls, formerly of St. George's, he graduated last year, had 11 points, all of them in the second half. 2 straight three-pointers gave the Bears a 51-34 lead with 9:11 left, and then they ran away from there.
It's time for Widener's Widener's basketball falls to Albright, a closing second jumper and a pair of free throws to the Albright Lions to escape an 82-79 MAC Commonwealth victory. Sadaria Sambo from Middletown led the Pride with a season-high 22 points, shooting 9 of 15 from the floor.
JoJo Cooper, formerly of Concord, now up at Wagner. He's tabbed the Metropolitan Basketball Writers Association Division I Player of the Week. He opened the week on Thursday night with 17 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds against St. Francis as Wagner came back from an early 9-point deficit to record its 9th victory of the season, 73-64. Then a couple days later, in a first-place showdown with Robert Morris on Saturday afternoon, Cooper notched his 6th double-double of the season, 11 points, 12 rebounds, while falling just 2 assists shy of a triple-double there.
Over to ECU, Cincinnati used its depth and interior game to wear down ECU, and the 12th-ranked Bearcats claimed an 86-60 win over the Pirates. Isaac Fleming, he's from Wilmington, and matched Sean Williams with a team-high 15 points, 6 of 12 from the floor.
Middle school basketball, the Explosion alum right there, Isaac Fleming. Let's move on to Rider University. Marist had an attempt at a game-tying 3, but they fell. Rider University gets the win 60-57. That was Saturday. Jordan Allen, formerly of Dover, 13 points, including 6 of 7 from the free throw line.
Time for Villanova, one of my favorite basketball teams. The Wildcats women's basketball team led wire to wire in an 84-58 win over the visiting DePaul Blue Demons. With victory, the Villanova Wildcats improved to 15-4 on the season, 5-3 in Big East play with a 3-point field goal at the 6:18 mark of the third quarter. Junior guard Adriana Hahn from Ursuline became the 28th player in team history to score 1,000 points.
Congrats up to you, Adriana. Congrats up to you. Just don't forget, I beat you in horse when you were in 7th grade, so I will still stick to that. I will still stick to that one, Abe. I'm still going to stick to that. Who's on to the men's program? They continue to roll, Benny. 81-61 victory over UConn. That was this past weekend. Dante DiVincenzo, we just talked to, his former high school coach here of Salesianum. He dropped in 5 3-pointers, and he ended up with 17 points for the Cats, who are now 18-1 overall, Benny.
All right, moving on to the professional athletes. Got plenty of them, like Dante McGill from St. George's. He's playing for the 87ers. He made a splash this time with the Goldie Beacon's men's basketball squad. He's acquired by the 87ers from the available player pool. McGill had an exceptional 2013-2014 campaign for the Lightning, in which he was named the CACC Rookie of the Year, an honorable mention All-Conference as well. The 5-time CACC Rookie of the Week. He averaged 15.1 points.
Just to let you know, Ben, I am actually available in that eligible player pool. in case anybody wants to give me a look.
And if they need a free throw shooter, I've never missed.
I'm the designated guy right there.
You are. You are the greatest. You are the greatest shooter to never play.
I try to tell you guys. Let's move on. Super Bowl, baby. The Birds are in it, believe it or not. There's also going to be 2 Delaware players playing in this one from each team. Of course, we know Wendell Smallwood, formerly of Red Lion. He'll be playing for the Birds. And then a guy that you might not have known from Delaware, Caesar Rodney. All right, Deron Harmon, starting safety for the Patriots, getting it done for them. He'll be playing as well. So
I would say I'm torn. I would say I'm torn, but go Birds, baby.
That's it.
All right, players of the week, girls. We got Maggie Connolly scoring her 1,000th point against St Elizabeths, in which she had 32 connecting on 6 threes. She scored 64 against Howard in a win earlier that week. She's our player of the week. For the men's, it is Bones Highland, Deshaun Highland. He went back-to-back 50-plus performances. Absolute freak. He scored 53 and an 80-63 win over Howard, and he did 58 and an 84-47 win over Hodgson. He also scored 22 points in a quadruple overtime 74-71 win over Newark.
All right, Ben, you know what time it is.
Yes, I do.
Let's go right to the tape here. Your plays of the week. We're getting it started right away. Number 5, Julie Kalasia. We saw it earlier. The three-pointer with the horn. Kalasia shoots, buries the 3, and 1. Big-time shot right there for Kalasia. Blended with 27.
All right, number 4, let's go to her sister. This was a deep 3 at the buzzer to finish the game. I always love these. Look how deep she is.
Bang.
Bang. From way downtown. That was a different zip code at that point.
Let's go number 3. We're going to just call him Efe Kodo from Appoquinimink. The two-handed baseline slam against my Vikings. You can see him here. Look at him raise up and bang it down. The big fella throwing it in.
So we got a dunk, and then we have, well, we just mentioned this, Maggie Conley, her 1,000th point, but of course, she's a grinder. She had to do it the hard way. Watch us slicing the way, hitting the deck, 1,000th point for her, but had to be helped up off the court. You know what? Pain is temporary, pride is forever.
That's it, 1,000 points. Heck of an accomplishment. Heck of an accomplishment for her. Let's move on to number 1, and this very well may be the play of the year, Brandon Sefikon. See this young man, he's all maybe 5'11", but get up. Wow. Bang! You kidding me? Are you kidding me, Ben? I can only do that on a Fisher-Price net. I could do that on a Little Tikes net. Look at the slow-mo. Young man. Dropping the defender off at the 9th floor. He goes all the way up to the 10th in the slam dunk. Like I said, perhaps play of the year.
That is posterization if I've ever seen it. All right, special thanks to the Salesianum men's basketball team for stopping by. Their game of the week is this Friday against St. E's, 7:15 p.m. It, of course, will be on 302 Sports. Also, very special thanks to the 2018 Delaware Middle School basketball explosion. Yeah. Rob Turner, Ray Rhodes, and Darnell Vaughn for stopping by. Special thanks to those guys. Great interviews as always. Great show as always. Tune in next week for more on 302 Sports Weekly.